Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee and I'm just one of many on the screen right now. Thank you. Rural students with little or no internet access have another option in Walker County. Some has outfitted school buses with Wi-Fi routers. Now, on days that school is online learning only, the school buses are deployed around the country and students may connect to the signal for free without a password. It was not released how much the mobile mounted routers cost the school system. The only problem with the idea is that the range of the mobile Wi-Fi hotspots is 500 feet. So students must be within 2 football fields away from the school bus to connect. And these are supposed to help rural students who may live 3 football fields off the road they live on. So unless the school bus pulls up into the kid's driveway, it's of absolutely no use at all. And I'm not making this shit up. That's the news. Back to you, Joe.
Okay.
What was it dancing around?
We had too many fingers in the.
Well, everybody leave it
Joe
alone.
needs the school bus. That's what that was.
Joe is here. It's Joe's show.
I kept trying to get everything. I pull people down and they pop back up. I pull people down and they pop back up. I was like, ah.
Kind of hard to concentrate. David Carroll doesn't have to put up with this shit.
Yes, he does. I've seen him do it.
Well, no, they have to put up with audio problems.
He just
like when they toss back from weather, yeah. David Carroll gets like 5 sentences out before they finally pot his mic up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, who has spent 33 years today.
Yep, 33 years at Channel 3.
At Channel 3. There's Skunk.
Yeah, and I want to point out real quick about the dancing around. You know what the problem is?
What?
Too many Chiefs, not enough engines.
Well, but the problem is that StreamYard has a remove button that also doubles as a bring them back on screen button.
That's I think everybody.
It's a toggle. It's not a.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the problem.
I think everybody was trying to knock themselves out, and as I would knock them in, knock them out, they knock themselves back in.
Well, the thing with Heather, which made it, the thing with Heather was that we thought you were having. I personally, I don't know about John, but I personally thought you were having trouble getting everybody off, so I was knocking everyone else off. And with Heather, we were having a war.
I was just like, my hands. I'm not doing it, y'all.
Okay, John had nothing to do with that until the end there, where I jumped in.
Hey, great question though.
Yeah.
Did everyone like the new intro?
Very much.
Yes, I thought that was excellent.
Yeah,
that's very well done.
The problem I had with it is that I think that Joe should have top billing because this is his show.
I did it the way I did it because, and I believe that the older among us will appreciate it. I did it the same way Saturday Night Live does it. The host is at the very end. Everyone else.
Which kind of makes sense because who's the next person you'll see? Lewis.
He was the second one that was mentioned in the beginning credits, yes.
No, Heather, you were mentioned first. You should be happy.
Ladies first.
I'm not an attention seeker. I'm a lie in the background kind of person.
No, you would have been happy.
Think of it this way. Somebody has to be first, and you were the Pathfinder.
There you go.
Now,
hi, everybody.
There you go.
Something happened today on Wikipedia.
Oh?
Yeah.
We're on Wikipedia.
Just could not wait to drop that bombshell.
No, I could not wait. Alexa, what is Stupid O'Clock?
According to Wikipedia, Stupid O'Clock is the best live stream show on Facebook and YouTube. It is hosted by Joe Dog, John, Louie Lee, Dan Holly, Holy, Hottie, however the hell he says it, and Skunk. Sometimes Heather and Blake will drop by. Its streams live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 p.m. Some people say the show is like the after hours of a sci-fi convention when nobody is ready for bed. The topics can change faster than a teenager sneaking out for a date. Did that answer your question? If not, you need to go find the show on their Facebook or YouTube page and just watch it for yourself.
I get a distinct feeling that is not actually on Wikipedia.
Maybe, maybe not.
Could be.
You hurt me.
What?
You hurt me. I have stuff to talk about later, but for right now, I want to open the floor to others. Does anybody have anything to talk about? Lewis,
I learned something so cool last night about my own family. My dad's family, the Lees, we've traced back to 400 AD England. That's not an issue. But my mother's maiden name was Centlivre. Centlivre. And we knew the family was from France, but we didn't know anything else about them. We didn't know when we came over or anything like that. So Denise got on Ancestry last night to do a little bit more digging. She had gotten some hints, apparently, and she followed up on the hints. And sure enough, my family did come from France. My mother's maiden name was Centlivre, but her mother's maiden name was Lane, Laine. And Lane wound up being my oldest brother's first name. And of course, I was named Louis, and my brother was named Roy. But we found an ancestor, Louis Jean-Baptiste Lane, who was born February 28th, 1810 in Saint-Florent-sous-Cher, France, which is about 120 miles south of Paris, about 60 miles south of Orléans. And he died October 27, 1867 in New Orleans. So he was the first Centlivre or Lane to come to America. Apparently the Centlivres came one generation after that. But what's really interesting about Louis Jean-Baptiste Lane is that he got to New Orleans via Quebec.
One of the Arcadians.
He migrated to Quebec first and then got caught up in the big migration when after the French and Indian War, after the British ran all the French out of Acadia and came down to Louisiana, and they said, well, who are you? And they said, we're Acadians. But they said it in a heavy French accent and kind of slurred it, which was misunderstood as Cajun. Acadian? Cajun? I'm Cajun.
I have family like that. That it was the name in France was Discardeberg. And they wound up in Biloxi, which is right outside New Orleans.
Yeah.
Back then, it was a big French colony and the old French fort and all that area.
Uh-huh.
Go, Scott.
Skunk.
Point of order. Louis.
There's no order here.
Louis, were you not on New Orleans public access television at one point?
Mm-mm.
I thought you were. I thought you lived in New Orleans. You were on New Orleans.
I was born and raised in New Orleans.
Of course you're Cajun.
No. People from New Orleans are typically either Creole or just Yats. You know?
Cajun, you got to have
Cajun usually is west of New Orleans in the Bayou country.
I learned something today because I did not know there was a difference. This is honest. This is honest truth. This is how uneducated and BS I am. I thought Cajun and Creole were the same thing. I thought Creole was a different word. It was like the French word for
different
Cajun.
people.
Creole, by definition, is a blending of cultures and races. Creole people are typically American, Native American, and Black. Okay. With heavy French influence.
Right.
Okay. Now that's the people. And don't mistake the people with the cuisine called Creole cooking. Creole cooking comes from Creole people, mixture of Native American and Black, that were slaves in the French plantations, and the French plantation owners expected them to cook traditional French dishes. Okay, so you've got French dishes, but you don't have all the creams and the cheeses and everything that comes with French cuisine. So you've got some mixed Black Indian people
Jamaican, Creole,
trying to use
Cajun,
to use local ingredients from South Louisiana to cook a European dish. You put all that and using African cooking methods. Wow. Okay, so you blend all that together, and that is Creole cooking. I actually much prefer Creole cooking over Cajun cooking, because Creole cooking is a lot of sauces. It's very rich food. It's really flavorful. Takes a longer time to cook, and
Cajun is whatever you can catch.
Yeah. Now Cajun is just that. When the French got kicked out of Acadia, out of Canada, and ended up settling in Louisiana, they were dirt poor. They had nothing. The British kept everything, the bastards. And so by the time they settled in Louisiana, they literally had one pot over an open fire to cook in this shack in the bayou. And so Cajun cooking, number one, to be authentic Cajun, has to be able to be cooked in one pot. There's no cooking something and setting it aside. No, you just start and keep adding until it's done and serve it out of that.
Hence the term gumbo.
Yeah. Well, gumbo is African for okra, which is a main ingredient in gumbo. But and technically, gumbo is considered Creole.
Depends on who makes what.
Technically, jambalaya is definitely Cajun.
Can I interject something
Sure.
fandom related?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to go into there's a DLC expansion pack for Fallout 4 called Far Harbor, and it takes place in Maine. And if you go far enough north into the mountains, you discover an area called Acadia.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to what you just said, I realize now that means that you're
in Canada,
cross the American border and go into Canada.
Yeah,
the
area including Quebec, Newfoundland, and Newfoundland, Nova Scotia.
That would be
all of that collectively is considered Acadia.
That would be up there by Maine.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lewis, you have taught us so much in 15 minutes. You've taught me more in 15 minutes than I've learned in the past week.
Glad to be of service.
Well, the original Arcadia was actually in Greece.
Acadia.
Not Arcadia. Arcadia is different.
Totally different thing. Arcadia is a totally different thing. And if you want me to nerd out about that, I will defer you to Brandon Moore, aka Chewy. He knows a lot more about Arcadia than I ever will.
Well, John.
Changeling, like nerd punk ass.
Yep. See, Acadian Peninsula. 1754. Yep, that would be.
Yep, and notice
the beginning of the purge.
Right next to Maine.
Yes,
literally right next to Maine. So that's pretty cool.
So the Oak Island treasure could be a big pot of filet.
I don't even know what that
means.
means.
Worth it to me.
You don't know what filet
I believe it would probably
filet
be cold
is
by now.
ground sassafras, and it's used as a thickening agent if you don't have okra.
Oh my God!
That's a filet gumbo.
And if you do have okra, they use it. They'll sprinkle it on top. It's just a spice.
Yeah, and some people do sprinkle it on top as a dressing.
So it's kind of like
garnish.
You got that.
Got that
molasses flavor to it.
It would be root beer flavor.
Yeah. Root beer, molasses,
Mhm.
very similar flavors there.
Yeah.
Or rather, root beer is not. Sassafras is not. You do not make root beer from sassafras. You make sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
Sassafras.
And horehound candy.
And sarsaparilla is better than root beer, in my humble opinion.
Because
As
root beer,
a-
actually, if I remember correctly, root beer has 16 different flavorings in it.
I don't know about all that. I know root beer's got there's a different root used for root beer it's not that there's a different root. It's sort of like whiskey, right? You make whiskeys out of a whole bunch of different things. You have rye whiskeys, wheat whiskeys, you can have, all sorts of different whiskeys. You can have corn whiskeys. But a bourbon is made in Kentucky.
What
And
is that?
It is made with a sour mash of corn.
Hey, Alexa,
That is
Hey, Alexa. What is that?
say it again.
What is that?
You got to say the word.
Hey, Alexa. What is that?
Say it louder.
I can't say it any louder.
Okay. One, don't say, "Hey Alexa." Just say,
No, it's just-
"Alexa." Alexa, what is that?
Try it again. Hold on.
Alexa, what is that?
Say it again. I unplugged it.
Alexa, what is that?
That was not me. I would claim that one. I can taste it. Oh God, it's burning my eyes. Joe Dog, you need to go wipe. I think you pooped. Save
You
me.
are one
I'm dying
sick
in here.
puppy.
You're only just now realizing that.
No, I'm just realizing the depths of it.
The
Joe.
depths of that compared to a black hole.
What?
Wow. Wow. Skunk. No, Dan. Dan,
You broke
your
skunk.
next book must include a chapter on the sullying of Alexa.
Okay, so anyways, back to the conversation before.
I was about to say we were having a really nice conversation, and then I don't even remember what the hell we were talking about before Joe Dog started goofing with his butt.
When I was a kid, my dad and I were out just wandering around in the woods, kind of scouting places for him to deer hunt from, and we ran across a sassafras stump. We could smell it. I mean, the smell led us to it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
Dad went back with a shovel and dug up an armful of sassafras roots, brought them back to the house, and we boiled it down to sassafras tea. And even hot tea from this root, I understood where the base of root beer came from. But it was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
The only natural teas I ever used to drink would when I was a kid and I would get a stomach ache, my mom would go out in the garden and pull some spearmint, and she would boil that in water and make me a mint tea, and I would drink it hot with just a little bit of sugar, and oh wow, cure an upset stomach like that. And to this day, if I want to really give myself a treat, I'll boil some spearmint and make a tea. It's really good.
I've got an herb garden in the front of the house, and last year I planted Italian parsley. And at first it didn't do real good. All the other plants, when winter came, fall and winter came, all the other plants died. But this Italian parsley looked gorgeous all winter. Spring came around, it died. I'm like, dang. Planted some other summer plants. Wasn't worried. I figured I ain't gonna plant no more parsley because I don't really use that much anymore. Planted some other summer herbs, stuff like that. They're all starting to die now. This parsley came back.
So it's a winter crop.
It has taken over half of my herb garden. I've got 6 feet of Italian parsley in the back of my herb garden. and it's again gorgeous.
Have you got a farmers co-op anywhere nearby?
Well, not that I know of. I do live in North Georgia. I'm sure there's a couple dozen of them around here. I just don't want to drive.
There's one in Rock Spring in Walker County.
Ba-da-dong, dong, 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 dong. Oop, nope. Not going that. I'm not going that co-op.
That's Polk County.
No, you need to look for hippies. That's where you're going to sell
good
your
farmers market on the other side of the Ringgold train station. I've never been to it. Huh?
Rangold.
Yeah.
Actually, I will happen to be driving down 41 today to Ringgold from where I was going to.
You live on 41.
Actually, let me preface.
I'm on 41 every day.
Let me preface this discussion with another discussion.
Or preface.
Hi, Lynetta.
Got, as I am calling it, my boss did not like me using this terminology. I'll use this terminology anyway, because that's how I feel, not how she feels. I got a promotion.
Ooh, who got fired?
Nobody. The guy that was on a certain specific route transferred, and I didn't really request the route. More now it's kind of like, hey, who else is really going to do that route besides me? If he's not going to do it, and you want your floater to be a floater, and you don't want to do it, put somebody in charge who knows what the hell they're doing. It can operate a GPS device or a cell phone or whatever without having to freak out every single time that they get a different, because the route changes literally every single day. And I looked at it as a promotion. She doesn't know this. I mentioned it to a few of my stops on my last day of the route that I was doing, that I'm getting a promotion. And she later said to me, she was upset. She was like, why'd you tell everybody you're getting a promotion? Because I am. You're not getting a promotion. People think somehow that you're like the assistant manager or something here. I was like, I didn't say that. All I said was I was getting a promotion. I never said I'm getting a promotion. She's like, it's not a promotion. And I'm like, it's a promotion to me.
I like this route better. That's a promotion.
I was so glad she didn't ask why. Because as you know, as I've talked about on here before, the people I work with
are idiots.
Most of them are selfish. They don't care about anybody but themselves. I liken it to when you work on a group project in high school and they make you do all the work. They make you do all the work and they take all the credit. I'm a team player, first and foremost. I'm willing to help out as much as it's going to help out the team. But if people are just taking advantage of me, I ain't doing that shit anymore. I did that back when I was in high school. No, I'm not dealing with that. So, therefore, this route, I go in at 5:30 in the morning, and I don't have to help nobody but myself. I like that. If they don't want to be team players, cool. I'll be on the team by myself. That'll be the winning team. And I'm okay with that.
So you go in, you say you go in at 5:30?
I go in an hour earlier, and I'm scheduled an hour later, so I get overtime no matter what. Which means I'm going to get better paychecks, plus I'm getting a raise soon. I already know that's going to happen. And I don't have to worry about anybody else but me. Plus, my route this is literally my route. I have a hospital, a Walmart, a Food City, and 2 pharmacies. That's it. That's all I have. The hospital's the biggest stop. All of my stuff is on its own pallets. It doesn't include anybody else's stuff. It's just those pallets, when they come to me, are my pallets. Nobody else's pallets. They are mine. I don't have to go through everybody else's crap looking for my stuff. Occasionally, I might have to because people are idiots. But all I have to do is go through my stuff, figure out what's mine, scan all of my stuff in. I leave within an hour of me coming to work. I'm on the road at 6:30, 7 o'clock at the latest. I drive to Dalton. I unload my first stop. I go to my second stop, and then my third stop, and then my fourth stop. Basically, then I meet up with an Atlanta driver, and he gives me a whole bunch of envelopes to deliver, and I go around and deliver the envelopes, and that's what I do all day. I just drive around and deliver envelopes. Literally the easiest thing I've ever done, because I'm just delivering an envelope. I don't have to deliver 20 totes like I used to. I have to do that at the very beginning of the day. But when I'm delivering the envelopes, I just walk in, hand an envelope. Here's the envelope. What's your last name? And I write their last name down, and I leave. That's all I have to do. It's literally my job. And occasionally I'll have like boxes and stuff that I have to deliver. I just hand them the box. Here's your box. What's your last name? Thank you very much. And I walk out. And it'll just be like one box. It's not like a set of boxes. It's not like a whole bunch of totes. I don't have to bring my entire smorgasbord of. I still am going to bring my my cart to move the Walmart and the other stuff when it's really super heavy. But I don't have to do that for the most part. The hospital has their own carts. The pharmacies are usually very light. The Walmart's really the only big place. Maybe when I have to do auto parts. But other than that, most of my stuff is going to be super easy and simple. I can carry most of it without even needing a cart or a hand truck. Fantastic. Cool. I can go about my day. When I do the envelopes, I don't even have to shut the van off. I can just get out. Here's your envelope. What's your last name? Thank you. And get back into my van, drive away like a UPS driver. I can knock through my day real fast. And I get so much work that it doesn't matter. I'm going to do overtime anyway. So that's cool with me. I never deal with anybody else. I do my thing. I get back to the office. I unload my stuff, which isn't much. I don't have to sit there 5 minutes. I don't have to be on that crappy route anymore, which, to be fair, I like the people on the route. I did not like the work. Way too much work for how much I was getting paid. This job, nah, it's exactly worth how much I'm getting paid because I don't deal with anybody else's BS. I can do my own stuff and whatever. I don't care. Plus, I get the added bonus. My vehicle isn't GPS tracked. I can drive as fast as I want, as long as I don't get pulled over. Here's to that. No more of this. I can only go exactly the speed limit. It's 75. I'm doing 80. And I don't like back roads either. Back roads would be like, it's 35 through here and the road's straight. Like, no, it's 55 through here because the road is straight. I love my job. I love it even more now.
Okay, got a question.
42.
I don't think anybody here is old enough, but the Razor will boot up, and then I look at it and it's searching for network, and then
when the Razors came out, there was a 3G network. Now most of the network is 4G and it's going to 5G. It probably can't find the network.
I understand that, but would that stop it? Would that make it automatically shut down? Because after it starts looking for the network, then it goes black, and I can't make it do anything.
Battery.
How long has it been charging?
No,
I'm just wondering if I get
a new battery in it.
Yeah, it's a brand new battery. It's supposed to be a brand new battery, but this is the bag that it came in from Amazon. And if you'll notice, the number on there starts with an X. Now, I used to be a stalker at Amazon here for a few months during the holiday season one year. And I know that if you receive anything from Amazon and it's got this barcode sticker on there, if the code number begins with an X, it's used stuff. It's a used product. And this is a used battery that they sold me for $20. So
return it.
I'm just wondering if I get but I just checked it with my voltmeter and it's putting out the required voltage. So, I mean, the battery's working. I'm just wondering if I get a burner SIM card, if that might work.
It might.
Because the SIM card that's in it right now, I mean, when I got this down in Florida when I lived there, and when I moved up here, I was still on T-Mobile. So it's there you go.
Like I said, I don't know if it can talk.
T-Mobile SIM card.
I don't know if it can talk to a modern
Yeah.
4G or 5G network.
So you mean I have to go to Polk County, Tennessee? Because I think there's still 2G there.
Let's put it this way: you could add a string to Dan's can.
I can tell you for a fact, due to work, where not only can you find a 3G area, I can tell you where to find a 1X area.
Oh yeah. Somewhere oh man, just south of Murfreesboro, I believe, is 1X.
Well, I was gonna say in our local area.
Oh,
Like,
where?
you don't even have to drive that far.
Where?
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
South of Lafayette, you can find a 1X area and a 3G area between Lafayette and Menlo. And I know that because I drive through there all the damn time, and that's all we give it.
Lynetta says her razor still boots and she can search photos and old messages.
I know, and that's what I want. I want access to my pictures because I've got the rock in me.
Why don't you
on
just
the phone.
Have you tried plugging it up to the computer and going
Yeah.
to it?
Literally my thought.
Well,
Just use it like a, external hard drive.
Razors don't work that way. You've got to have a specific Motorola program.
but it won't. Yeah, and it won't finish booting up. It looks for the network and then
Does it
shuts
have a
down.
removable card?
Just that SIM card.
So it doesn't have like a memory card?
No.
Did you
Not-
pull the SIM card out?
A razor, please.
Did you
Is
pull
it-
the SIM card out, though?
What?
Pull the SIM card out.
Well, he just did that.
I did
He
that.
was showing it to us a minute ago.
No, I mean, like, pull the SIM card out 100% and try to boot it up.
Oh, I got you. So that maybe it won't try to look for a network.
Precisely.
Okay. Well, I did, and let's see.
I had a razor for a while, never really used it for anything except phone calls. And then
I damn near killed this one because this is when Denise and I first started dating. Well, when we first met, and the only way we communicated was this.
my
and
brother joined the Marines, and while he was stationed over here in Virginia, his roommate went to overseas somewhere
Mhm.
and left a razor in the room because he said, when I get back, I'm getting a new phone. So when he came home, he gave me his razor, this razor. Mom took it down to wherever she got her phone at because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. Mom took it down to wherever she was, got it on her plan, came back, said, here, now you have a phone, now I can get in touch with you. Which is how my mom basically, that was a remote control for controlling her son. So I had that one for a while. And it came in handy for a while. And then eventually I got a job in the military. We were going overseas, and I went and got a decent cell phone, but it was Windows capable. So it had a Windows program on it and everything like that.
Mhm.
One of the other things that was cool was it could hook into the internet, and you could use it as a wireless hotspot.
Yeah.
So that was, and I had that one for a few years, and then eventually I got tired of paying $125 a month to keep it.
I pay $154 a month for our plan, and it's got unlimited everything. But I still think that's too much.
I pay $100 a year for each cell phone we have.
I think I get unlimited everything for like $96 a month.
I paid
For one
$20
phone?
for 3 months, and I don't talk to anybody.
Phone though, one phone.
Yeah, I got two phones.
Yeah, I mean, technically, because you have two phones, Louis.
Oh, wait a minute. Also, my Apple Watch.
Yeah.
You got the GPS version.
Yeah, I've got the GPS and cellular version.
That's what I meant. So
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Thanks for the warning.
So you were talking about Amazon earlier, Louis.
Uh-huh.
Now, anybody who knows me knows that I generally, I don't have anything really nice to say about Amazon. I like the company myself. Unfortunately, Amazon is a necessary evil at this point because they much like Walmart, have destroyed any ability to do a certain specific thing. See, before Walmart, you could go to your mom and pop stores that were locally owned and source products from vendors that were people you knew in the community. And now Walmart took over and they got rid of that. And now Walmart has to contend with Amazon doing the same exact thing, except making it so that you can't even go to your big box stores. If you want to buy something, you have to buy it online. Specifically, you have to buy it through Amazon.
Yeah.
So when I buy boots, specifically my Doc Marten boots, like this one, I have stopped buying them through places like Journeys and stuff because they don't ever carry anything in my size. They don't ever carry anything in my style.
Have you ever gone to Journeys and talked to the manager and had him order the shoes for you?
Well,
Does Hot Topic not carry them anymore?
Hot Topic still carries Doc Martens, yes, but
Doc Marten not having its own website, then you can bypass Amazon.
you can, but it's more expensive. And John, just to point out, you can go to Journeys and attempt to order, and Hot Topic and attempt to order Doc Martens. A, you have a very limited selection, and B, that's because most of the shoes they have are for.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Scene kids.
The thing is, I've gone.
No,
It depends on the store and who manages it.
I'm not trying to be offensive when I say this. Women, they're marketed and designed specifically for women, which means I can't get them in my size.
What's your size?
I wear a men's 11 US.
Damn.
UK 10. And
So women's 13.
Yeah, you can't get those sizes at Journeys or yeah.
Average woman's foot's between 6 and 8.
I've been buying my Doc Martens past several years through Zappos, and I've really liked their site. I found out later they were Amazon, and I was like, I don't like buying through Amazon, but yeah, I can't pass up a bargain. I really can't. That kind of sucks. But I also know that Zappos is kind of a separate branch of Amazon, so it's not under the same jurisdiction and not the same shit.
They have a shop inside of Amazon to increase their visibility.
So, the thing about it is, right? I bought a pair back in April. Got a pair of boots back in April, and I was there are these right here, the high visibility greens, which, if you notice, has instead of the yellow stitching that Doc Martens usually have, it has green stitching, which I thought was really super cool. Very skunky. I was very happy with these until the other day.
What'd you do the other day?
Oh, soul
Do
split.
you not pay to have them resold?
I could do that. Unfortunately, I felt like looking at this, if you notice where the split is, it's not split on the seam. It's not split where the stitching is. It's split in the sole itself.
Right. It's a layered sole. One of the layers is coming out.
Is a, I'm looking at it going, this is a structural defect.
Yeah. Squeeze some Gorilla Glue in there. It'll work.
No. Silicone caulk.
This is
Gorilla Glue turns foamy and expands like.
Depends on the type of Gorilla Glue.
No, Gorilla Glue's got a lot of different.
Hold up, y'all, calm down. This is a manufacturing defect. It happened to only one of them. It didn't happen to the other one. It's obviously a manufacturing defect. Something went wrong in manufacturing. This happens. It's rare, but it happens. Now, Doc Martens has a 365-day return period. However, that only counts if you buy the shoes from their website.
Really?
If you buy them from Doc Martens specifically, if you buy them from a third-party site like Zappos, null and void. So Zappos has to be the ones to return them.
Doc Marten won't fix them?
No.
I mean, you can't.
The lifetime guarantee thing ended a few years ago.
No. I mean, like, send it back, get it fixed, pay $20, whatever.
No. If you've wore them, if you bought them from a third party, they're null and void. Period. But if you've wore them and it's been more than, I think, 60 days, Doc Martens won't touch them. Something like that.
Well,
Now,
you should mention
this. Here's my point. I'll say I've got my story has a point.
Okay.
Now, I contacted Zappos because Zappos does have a thing on their website that says if you haven't worn the shoes, you can return them within, I think it's 180 days or something like that. Right? It's like a really long time for a return. Thing is, A, I'm obviously past that point. B, also, I've worn mine. But I noticed there was a thing that said about manufacturer's defects. It said if you believe that your shoe has occurred a manufacturer's defect or has been damaged because of a manufacturer's defect, please contact us. Okay. So I went to their live chat, explained the situation to him. I talked to this guy, Jerry. He was really nice, and he said, okay, I see, I understand what you're saying. Like, the sole split, obviously it shouldn't have happened. We apologize for the inconvenience. And what we're going to do is we're going to send you a new pair of shoes, and we're going to send you a UPS label. Send the old pair of shoes back. You have 2 weeks to send the old pair of shoes back from the day that you receive your new pair of shoes. Okay. And he said you should receive your new pair of shoes before Saturday. Right? And this is Wednesday, by the way. This is Wednesday. Before Saturday, you should receive them Saturday at the latest. I said, okay. So and they send me the tracking number and all that other shit. And it says on the tracking thing, expected delivery date is the 19th. So I'm not expecting these shoes to show up until Saturday.
No.
Because, it makes sense. If
they're and all that. Yeah, everything's slow.
Yeah, So imagine my surprise when I got off work and I found this package waiting for me.
Oh, wow.
They overnighted that shit. I got my new boots already.
Now, did they include the envelope to send the boots back, or do you have to do your own mailing?
I have to print the label off. I have to print the label off, but I can use whatever box I want.
The only thing that would make it even sillier is if you were the one that had to deliver them to yourself.
Don't make him spit his beer everywhere.
I was recently thinking about that with my current job. That one of the things I have to deliver is payroll checks, right, for different companies. And I thought about it and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, what if it gets to the point where one of the companies that I freelance for, like TWE or Scrub House or one of the other ones, ends up getting their checks and pay stubs and stuff printed off by a separate company, and I have to my own house, my own pay stub.
What the hell was that?
That would be hilarious.
I believe that's Joe hiding in the background because I noticed his microphone's not muted.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I forgot. I forgot he was unmuted.
Well, it's fun. It's funny that Skunk got some new boots shipped today because so did I.
Oh, really?
Yep. Voodoo Tactical.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got the 9-inch Desert Combat with the zip side. Got to have the zip side. I can't bend over long enough to lace up these boots anymore. My belly roll getting away.
We figured out real quick in the desert those don't work so hot because the zippers just let everything into them damn boots.
Yeah. Well, these are pretty well built, and I don't do a lot of tromping around in the sand. So,
did I ever tell you the story about these? These are my desert winter boots they sent me.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on. Let's see if you can see all this. They're Gore-Tex lined.
Wow. Now these are Thinsulate.
These are Thinsulate. I just can't find the tag for it here. These are actually military issue. They're really nice boots, but ain't no way I'm wearing these hot sumbitches in the desert.
Thinsulate, size 13 wide.
Now,
Don't you said you wear size 11s, right?
Oh yeah, we're 11 US. Technically,
Can you squeeze into a 10 regular? You think?
Technically, I wear 10 and a half. And John, but I want to point out, before I started wearing Doc Martens, I love Doc Martens. Don't get me wrong. I always wanted a pair of Doc Martens when I was a kid because I was a huge punk and I love punk stuff, and I always thought Doc Martens looked super cool. But before I started wearing Docs, I only bought my shoes at one store. Well, no, let me rephrase. I bought my shoes at two stores. One if I had money, or one if I didn't have money. Right? If I had money, I bought at Sears shoe store
over in Fort Oglethorpe.
Oh,
yeah. I would go over there and I would
Are they
buy.
still there, or did they finally close down?
I don't know.
Talking about it.
I don't know if they're closed down or not. I haven't been over there in a very long time.
Me neither. I know they were talking. The guy that used to run it retired. I don't know if they're still running it or not. I was actually going to suggest you taking them boots over there because he used to do cobbling.
When I went over there and I would buy boots, I bought one of two brands. When I was over there, I either bought Red Wings if I had a lot of money. Red Wings used to be the motorcycle boot. I mean, those are the same boots Arnie wore in Terminator 2. Right?
Sears Shoes is still open. They will open at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Fantastic.
706-866-5935.
I want to point out the other one that I would buy from them though. When I really couldn't afford, because Red Wings are super expensive. I mean, you're talking like a $200 boot, right?
Depends on what you want.
The other brand I would get all the time were Mavericks. And that was on my uncle's recommendation because every first responder he knew that wasn't a fireman wore Mavericks. They all wore Mavericks.
I've seen so many boot crazes come down the pike.
Wore Mavericks. Security guards wore Mavericks. I mean, they all wore Mavericks. If you wanted a good combat boot that was going to last you for a very long time, Mavericks. I had a pair of Mavericks when I was a teenager. It lasted me 10 years.
I had Cochrane's, H&H. I had, we called them Herm boots. They were the German military boots. Had the extra insulation in them. Frankenstein boots. Didn't like them much either. I've had Bellevilles. I've had High-Techs.
Bates.
What? Bates?
Bates is a military brand.
Well, I don't think I've ever had any Bates boots. I've had low quarters. I've had the dress shoes all over.
When I was in boot camp, they issued Bates Boondockers, which is the steel toe combat boots for the Navy.
Mm.
And man, those things lasted forever. But you got two pair. You were issued two pair. And they knew why. They said, keep one in reserve until week 8. And they always tell you shit in boot camp, and you don't know why.
Get until it happens.
You better pack it away because it's necessary. Because in Navy boot camp, week 5, you got KP. And you're out on the back deck of the chow hall, and you're literally mopping the floor with acid, and it will eat the boots off your feet.
No, I wanted to point this out when I was after high school, when I had those really crappy jobs that I had. I bought my boots throughout the years at the same place.
I just had a picture fall off the wall. That's what it happened.
Again?
Several places.
They make this thing called a nail that does a lot better than that adhesive tape stuff you've been throwing up there.
Well, Gorilla Tape, hell, it should have held it.
But I would buy my boots from the same.
It's not gas proof.
I would buy my boots from the same places. Not the same place necessarily, same places. Right? And what I mean by that is I would buy my boots from surplus stores. So I've had every kind of jungle and tanker boot you can think of. I've had them all, and I've wore them all. From
I
all
have never actually bought a set of jungle boots.
I've had all sorts.
I've never been in the jungle either.
I've had the black jungle boots. I've had the German tanker boots. I've had the fur-lined Russian, stomp boots. I've had dress boots. I've had all of them. And I'll tell you something about the military surplus boot, right? Best fitting boot you will ever get in your whole entire life. Those boots will fit you like a glove. But guess how long they will last? About as much as you've paid for them. I think the longest lasting boots I've ever had from a military surplus was 1 year. 1 year. That was it. They were done.
Of course, they're surplus.
Well, they're getting used. Yeah.
And but oh god, they look so freaking cool. And the best pair I've ever had were the German tanker boots, and those were the ones that had the belt that wrapped all the way around your leg twice. And then
the Americans have a tanker boot too, but it's exactly identical. It's made by Cochrane, and it's exactly identical to the Cochrane jump boot, except that instead of laces, it's got the strap. And I never saw. I can't imagine anything in a tank that you would have to worry about. But supposedly, the reason you don't have boot laces in a tank is you don't want it getting caught on any of the controls or protuberances inside.
Yeah, because you can't bend over real easy in a tank. Everything's kind of in your face and form fitting.
I don't know.
It only makes sense because you have to know tankers, because let's face it, they don't know how to tie shoes.
Now,
I mean,
these tanker boots kind of look like that, only without the laces.
Yeah,
because trust me, you can't trust a tanker to figure out how a zipper works most of the time. There's a 4-man crew in a tank, and one of them has to know how to operate a zipper.
I'm armor. Anyway, these are the boots that I just replaced. Also Voodoo Tactical. These suckers lasted me 4.5 years.
Do me a favor. Show the tread again. Show the tread. Yeah, you can see why he had to replace them right there.
Right there, man.
And on the heel.
Yeah.
The last pair of Doc Martens that I owned lasted me several years before I replaced them with these green laced ones. And
I am not happy with the redesigned tread. No.
That looks nice though.
It
looks okay, but I don't think it's going to be as grippy as
it looks like a Pirelli where you need a Wrangler.
Yeah.
Said it
Exactly.
all of my
4-wheel drive boots.
with all of my Doc Martens, I'll tell you exactly where the fault is. I've wear them for several years, and it's always the stitching. The stitching will eventually come loose, and once that stitching comes loose, you can't get those resold, right? Yeah. It's a pain in the ass for the cobbler. They just can't do it because it's a very specific thing to Doc Martens. This was different. This happened after only 5 months, because this was back in April. This happened in only less than 5 months. This ripped through, and I'm like, that's got to be a manufacturer's defect. That can't. No, I've wore so many Doc Martens over the years, and it's always been like, I remember the first pair of Doc Martens I ever had wasn't even the stitching didn't even rip. The leather ripped. Right.
I have, depending on where you wear boots, the leather doesn't hold up very well. I have literally ripped out the insole on leather boots.
The canvas. I bought canvas ones for years. I just recently switched back to leather, and that's because I wanted to try something different with because the canvas ones, I kept having that issue, right? And I switched to the leather. I switched back to the leather, thinking that maybe the leather's better now. I don't know. And then this happened, so I have no idea.
I'm gonna grab another drink, and then I'm gonna bring back something to show. Those aren't combat boots.
They are.
Well, are leather and Cordura canvas.
Here's
I learned something about these tennis
They're
shoes.
very lightweight.
I learned something very important about these tennis shoes. Don't play with the cat with your foot.
let me explain something.
These are super thin right there. Cat claws go straight through that.
One of the interesting things, though, about PT shoes, they always tell you when you're in the military, pack your PT shoes in your rucksack. And the reason is, if your boots get all sopping wet from whatever, and you have to wear your wet weather boots, of course, your boots are already wet. What's the point putting wet boots inside of a wet weather boot? Because they're not going to dry out.
Put on your PT shoes.
Put on your PT shoes, put on your wet weather boots. That is the most comfortable, warmest pair of boots you can wear in the winter. And your PT shoes will dry out a lot faster than boots will.
Yeah.
I want to say this, right?
And a fresh pair of wool socks.
This is to Joe,
Any socks.
Yeah.
right? Any shoe can be a combat boot if you're willing to go the distance with it.
If you know where to kick.
Steel toes are helpful in that regard.
I used to have a pair of steel toes.
Cowboy boots don't have pointed toes for nothing. Okay, trust me.
I used to
I'm
have
going
a
to
pair
tell you.
of steel-toed sneakers when I worked in a warehouse years and years ago after I graduated high school. They were a gift from my dad. He
I
was
have
like,
a pair in my
"Oh, you like these?"
closet.
And I was like,
Cowboy boots or combat boots?
what's the
Steel toe sneakers.
Yeah.
Sneakers.
I was like,
They're
Sneak-
actually composite toe sneakers.
Steel toe sneakers. I never understood it. They're really comfortable, but they look like New Balances. Like, why would I wear that?
What's
What?
wrong with New Balance?
A female friend of my wife and I works at a fulfillment warehouse, not Amazon, and she has steel toe tennis shoes.
We
Yeah.
got the new. We got the
I've got
new.
them at work too. The
uniform.
last 3 or 4 pairs that I bought have been steel toe. They're not
John.
exactly tennis shoes, but they're
Yeah.
not leather.
Well, athletic shoes.
There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with shoes that look like New Balances. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, that's my
If-
sneakers are New Balance.
If you're a father, because those are totally dad shoes.
Well,
Skechers.
Well, now wait a minute.
I'll tell you. the
When
thing
we got
about-
back from Iraq, we had to start wearing the new ACU uniform. You don't wear black boots with that. You wear the tan boots, like I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
These are the boots that went with the ACU. Okay. I hurt my feet, so I got a profile to wear tennis shoes during the day with my uniform. I said, well, I ain't wearing no tacky shoes, my brand new uniform. That'll just look hell. So I went out and brought these.
Oh, that's nice.
Ain't they?
That is.
And I've
What
had,
is it?
I've had, and they're New
Let's
Balance.
see the
I've had
ad.
them forever.
I see the
What's-
ad.
What's really nice about them is they sort of match this so darn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish they'd put more tan on it instead of that brown on top and front.
Mm-hmm.
But I got more compliments on that because here I was limping around on the sore, beat up feet, and everyone's like, "Those are good looking shoes."
Andy has that exact same pair. He
Ah,
just
It was
bought
a
them
military
too.
thing at the time.
Of
Yeah.
course he does.
Well, I had to wear steel toe shoes for my job. And when I had to go turn my uniform in, they said, you can keep your steel toe shoes. I said, all right. They told me don't even bring them. I said, all right, no problem. Well,
I'll be back.
after I got there and brought them back, I took those steel toe shoes. I poured a quart of motor oil in each one of them and threw them in the garbage. Never again.
I mean, I didn't do that to I even think I still might have my steel toe sneakers around here somewhere. But
I've got an old pair from work back here that I use when I'm doing something dangerous here at home. I've got steel toe cowboy boots.
Oh, have you seen the cowboy hat, hard hat?
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure have.
Yep.
I started to get one, and then I realized that's not quite the style I want to represent at work.
see, I want to show you guys the last pair of shoes I purchased, right? Not boots. I've been wearing boots for years, but I finally had to buy a pair of shoes. And they're these right here.
They're wrestling shoes.
Mm-hmm. Heather recognized them instantly.
They're ASIC wrestling shoes.
These are my ASIC wrestling shoes. These are what I wear when I train.
They're very comfortable.
I'm eventually going to get wrestling boots. And okay, so let me tell you something right now, buddy.
These are my steel toes or composite toes.
These are comfortable when you're wrestling. These are really comfortable when you're wrestling.
And then I went and got
Not comfortable at all if you're not wrestling. They're the worst. They feel like those, those toe shoes? Have you ever seen those with the toe
shoes?
I have the Vibram Five Fingers.
No, I meant the ones that literally the shoes that have toes on them.
I'll be back.
Heather's gonna go get her pair. Those shoes with the toes on them. Heather's gonna go show hers off in a minute, but that's what they feel like. They're so thin.
Well, when I was in junior high and high school in the 70s, the big thing was the Adidas track shoes. And they made you walk like this because they had almost zero arch support. The soles got down to about that thin, and your arches were completely unsupported. But they had it was black, and they had the 4 white stripes, and that was all that mattered. They looked cool under your bell-bottom jeans. And the bell-bottoms had to be 1.5 inches too long so that they ragged out at the heel,
Well, you know what? I tell you what that reminds me of. And Heather can attest to this, every kid that me and Heather used to know back in the day that wore Jinkos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my son wore Jinkos
with the Adidas soccer shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the Adidas track shoes is what I was talking about, and we wore what was called BB blue jeans. BB blue jeans were about this much between the top of the waist and the bottom of the crotch. I mean, were like
those were
hip
some low
huggers.
cut.
Hip huggers, man, and guys wore them back in the 70s. But I had the physique for it back then. I couldn't now. I mean, it was.
I only owned
spilling out all over the place.
I only owned one pair of Jinkos. And Heather, do you remember the different names for the Jinko pants? For the different.
I never owned a pair. I couldn't afford them.
Yeah, they were like $120 a pair.
Expensive.
50 to 80.
But does anybody want to?
That's not what I paid for the ones at Hot Topic for my son. Oh my God!
Take a wild guess at what Jinkos, what version, what theme, I suppose you should say, of Jinkos I owned.
Let's see, the one with the studs and the chains.
You're thinking of NYC Trip.
No, my son had Jinkos, and it had studs
John.
down the seam.
Here's Andy's.
Very close.
Hey,
He even wrote on the back.
Skunk, message me later. Message me later.
You trying to read it?
Oh,
65
E65
E65
these are
70
10.5 regulars.
AB plot positive. Wow. Oh, that's
to give you an idea of how new they are.
It still has the card in there.
There's a card on it.
But these are Belleville.
No, these were the
You can lace these things. That's how new they are.
only pair of Jinkos that I ever owned.
No, mammoth, elephants.
Only pair of Jinkos I ever owned, right? And I had them for years, and obviously I've outgrown them. I don't wear them anymore, and I got rid of them years ago. But there's a specific set of Jinko jeans. They're black jeans with embroidered white stripes down the side. And guess what they were called?
Skunks.
I remember those because they were made out of a khaki material, not a jean material.
And I had a pair of those. And then when Jinkos came back a couple years ago, for that brief split second where they were like, we're trying to capitalize on 90s nostalgia, and nobody gave two craps. I thought about
I was going to say they're trying that again now.
Well, I was going to buy it because they were remaking them. I was going to buy another pair of Jinko Skunks. But they only released the Jinko, as far as I could tell, they only released the Jinko Skunks in shorts. I want to buy a pair of shorts.
Well, I can tell you what happened with the first go around late this last time. They got in trouble because they copied like 20 different artists' works for the backs of them, didn't give them any rights or permissions. All of it had to go on clearance. So now they got permissions this time around.
Moccasins?
Nope.
Is that duct tape?
You probably can't see the color. It's
Oh my gosh.
It's sparkly shoelaces.
Oh.
All right. I'll be right back.
They have a pair of red corduroy Jinkos on their website.
These are gum soles.
Dan, I can't see the color of anything. I'm wearing 3D glasses.
I was wrong. These are actually 10 regulars. But strangely enough, it says 10 and a half on the side of the boot, but the label says 10R.
They might fit. Like well, here's the thing, and I want to point this out, right? I wear an 11 US, right?
All right. And these are at the old jungle boot style. What we used to call DD tire treads.
My wrestling shoes are a 12. See, shoes in
science fiction conventions not being carried on, and here we are talking about shoes.
No, I want to point this out because
like I said, the subject on this show can change. Subject on this show can change faster than a teenager sneaking out for a date.
Look, here's what I want to point out. Okay, these are 12s, right? My boots are US 11. These are US 12. I wore US 10 before, and previous to that, when I was an adult, after my growth spurts and everything, I have wore US 9s, right? And I've had all sorts of different. I've noticed, depending on the brand that you purchase.
Yep. Which
is very similar to, and Heather, being our token female of the group, can attest to this.
Token.
Very much like it's very much like
you're closer to him, Heather. You whoop him.
Yeah, just reach up and slap him.
But no, Heather, am I not correct on that? Because that drove me nuts when I worked at Hot Topic.
Now, what did you say?
Women's clothing sizes change based on brand.
Yes.
That
men's clothing does too from turn 9.
I wear a size 8 tennis shoe in most of them, but when it comes to New Balances, I have to get a 9. Brooks, I wear an 8.5. If I wear I can't remember the name brand. It's a skater shoe, Deck something.
Well, it's not even.
I wear 6 in boys in that.
It's not even.
Like pants. If I go to one place, I buy this size. If I go to this place, I have to buy either smaller or larger.
As I've gotten older, I've started wearing smaller and smaller shoes.
If you look
my feet are shrinking, or just shoe sizes are getting bigger.
No, mine is getting
declines.
bigger.
That's the shoe I was thinking of. Declines.
I was gonna say this: men's shoes or men's shirts. Men's shirts. Smalls are always small. Mediums are always medium. Larges are always large. Extra larges are always XLs, et cetera, all the way down the line until you get to like 6XL or whatever, right? But look at girls' shirts, which are like you have size 0, size 1, size 2, size 3, size 4. And every company is different. And some of the companies only print the odd numbers. Some of the companies only make the even numbers. And then if you compare even numbers to even numbers between brands, or odd numbers to odd numbers between brands, they don't match up. A 3 from one company is going to be the same as a 3 from another company. And this gets even worse with pants.
It is. It's awful with pants.
Men's pants. What do you think men's pants are doing? Any dude here who's bought pants knows it's the waist and the length. That's
Right.
what you get. You see it. It's just, I personally
And try finding an odd numbered waist.
I wear a 30. Well, yeah, I wear a 33. So you usually have to get a 34 and wear a belt,
You
right?
either have to wear a 32 and suck it in, or wear a 34 and a belt.
Yeah.
What's really hard is finding the tall sizes.
And so I wear like I said, I wear like a 33, 32, right? My waist is a little bit bigger. I'm a little fat and I lose some weight. I could wear a 32, 32, you know? And so it's if you look at it from that perspective, right? It's pretty easy to figure out what size pant you like. Women's pants are just, 0, 1,
Petite,
2, 3,
regular,
4,
and tall.
and they
Okay.
And then you've got straight, you've got curvy.
Hey,
it's such
Lewis-
a nightmare.
Lewis has breaking news. Go, Lewis.
I didn't want to interrupt there.
And then you cut them off.
But-
Okay.
All right, there you
Does
go. Okay.
anybody remember last week when I did the story about the online learning pretty much killing off snow days?
Yeah.
And I said the loudest
Yeah.
complaints were coming from teachers who said now they've only got summers and fall break and winter break and 15 personal days and all this.
Okay.
Hamilton County School Board members voted Thursday to alter the school calendar, making changes that include, get ready for it, more days off for teachers. The proposal gives teachers more days off around Thanksgiving and switches planned half days to where teachers can work remotely. Whether they choose to work from home or in the classroom, it's not just the teacher's schedule that would need to be adjusted. One Hamilton County parent called this schedule change insane. James Barry said he believes the school district central office has zero consideration for working families. School board member Rhonda Thurman was the only member to vote against the proposed schedule because, as crazy as Rhonda is, she's the only one that really does represent parents. That's my editorializing.
Yeah.
She says for parents, because there's a lot of kids being left home alone, do not need to be left at home alone. There are people taking their kids to work with them, leaving them in the car, throw away phones so that they can call them inside if something happens while they're sitting out in the car, said Thurman. Childcare might be the number one concern against the schedule, whether parents will be able to find childcare or even afford it. So I told you the teachers would be the ones whining the most about the pretty much disappearance of snow days.
Well.
That's the breaking news.
We called it. We called it.
We called it first here on Stupid O'Clock.
Yeah.
Actually,
Of
Lewis
course.
called it.
It's pretty sad when you try to find the asinine side of news and it turns
And it
out
comes
to be the
true.
most accurate.
I read something on Facebook that I
Real life,
bring up because it is totally some Stupid O'Clock news.
Yeah. We actually got a new name, Amber Graves. Welcome. I don't recognize your name, so welcome to Stupid O'Clock.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wait a minute. I think we know Amber from somewhere.
I don't.
She's gonna have to get on. She's gonna have
Obviously
to
watching on
message us so we
YouTube.
know her from. Because she's got an anime picture for her avatar, so we don't know what she looks like.
Well, she's pretty cool.
How do we know?
Does she
She
watch?
got an anime picture.
Skunk has anime pictures.
Exactly. My point exactly.
I just realized is that something new that they've got the logo of whatever medium they're watching us
Oh,
on.
Not
Yes.
new.
She's on.
I like
she's on
that.
YouTube. So.
It's
Yeah,
not.
she's watching
it's
on
not
YouTube.
New. It's not new. We just don't have a whole lot of YouTube commenter.
Right. We don't get a lot of people on YouTube commenting.
So
I've never even
Amber,
noticed the
tell
Facebook
us where you're
logo.
from and where
Yes.
we know you from.
Yes.
If we know you. If we don't know you, hi. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
So here,
If we do know you, who the hell are you? Okay.
I want to tell this because this is really this is messed up on so many levels and I love it.
All right.
this is a transgender woman who describes herself as a satanic anarchist has won the Republican Party nomination for sheriff in a New Hampshire county after running on a platform of F the police.
Oh yeah, that was 2 weeks ago actually.
Yeah, she ran unopposed. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and no one knew that she was. Nobody knew who she was. They just ticked the box that said Republican. That's hilarious. I love that.
She won because she was Republican.
She ran as a Republican unopposed, and people just voted for her.
She said,
and she won.
They're primary for their towns in like 3 weeks from now.
What was that thing we were talking about that one day that we need to wait until Congress can't balance the budget again and then sue them and force term limits on them through the Supreme Court?
I wish.
Yeah. I suggested that years ago.
Yeah. Now,
you know what I got in an argument.
We're going to have to get the Supreme Court involved.
I got an argument today.
Okay.
On George Takei's website. Imagine that. On George Takei's page. I got an argument because they're talking about how I can't remember who it was talking about how we can't change the Constitution. And they said, well, we can amend it. You know,
it's changed.
And I said, yeah, right. Like Congress could agree. Like you could get 2/3 of Congress to agree on any damn.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they can agree to give themselves a damn raise.
And that was actually the last amendment. The 27th Amendment was basically, if they do change the pay that Congress gets, it doesn't take effect until somebody else gets elected.
Yeah.
And that was some guy was trying to argue with me. Well, back in the 90s, they did the 27th Amendment. Yeah, that's to keep themselves from losing money. Imagine that.
27, not 23. I was close. It was a 20 number.
Yeah, 20-something.
I guess I missed out. I took too long for the.
Wait. Hold on, Dan. Don't move. Oh, damn it. I keep hitting on that. There we go. There you go.
God, why do you keep
some kicks going
some Chuck E.
on
Cheese.
there.
I have a parallel thought.
It's the McDonald's. It's the McDonald's laces.
Yeah. You wear those with your steampunk, don't you?
Yes, I do. And Joe and Skunk have both seen these with the costume. I had to make the laces
when you dressed up as the Flash.
Exactly.
Steampunk Flash.
Not Steampunk Flash. The original Flash.
The Jay Garrick Flash as steampunk, yes. I have the metal hard hat and everything.
Metal hard hat and the Hermes wings.
Well, I haven't put the wings on the hat yet.
Oh, speaking of the Hermes wings, did you hear about the UFO in New Jersey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that turned out to be
the blimp.
Your basic Goodyear blimp.
Yeah,
that's you know what the thing about it is that was an old joke in that 70s show where Kelso for some reason he thought he'd seen a UFO, so they all go out and lay out in a field to and Kelso's got a camera and the other guys they're all stoned and they're all laying there and they're just all like, when are we gonna see this UFO? And it's like, oh, it's gonna come anytime. There's a UFO right there. And they're like, dude, that's a helicopter. Leo, Tommy Chong's character, Leo, suddenly shows up and he lays down next to him. He's like, hey, dudes, what you doing? We're waiting for UFO. I saw a UFO once. It flew past and gave me a message. It told me I was going to have a good year, man. That UFO lied to me, man. I had a terrible year. Leo, did you happen to see this UFO at, say, a sporting event? Wow, man, how did you know?
I flew in a Goodyear blimp once. The America.
Oh, nice.
Amber Graves says steampunk is bae. Speaking of UFOs, she saw a thing today about a random field pattern in Scotland. Okay. Dan, you remember when were they Scottish guys or English guys that admitted to stamping out all the
The crop circles.
I do not recall. I know that I've
think they were
seen an
Brit.
entire show about them, and they demonstrated their technique, and then the camera crew had night vision hooked up to their TV cameras and actually watched them go ahead and create a pattern. Back to Goodyear blimps.
Yeah.
I was plowing a field on the middle-sized tractor over on the farm, and it was getting a little heated up.
Oh,
It was
you're right
time
in
to,
the track for the Goodyear blimp too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because when they come up most of them are based in Florida. When they come up the East Coast, they probably fly right over Athens in your area.
Well, they have been over the over a couple of UGA football games sometimes.
Right.
And I'm sitting there on the tractor, and I've got it pulled up. There's no shade trees or anything, but I've got to shut it down because it's overheating. And a shadow comes overhead. I go, damn, that's a thick cloud. And I look up. There's a freaking blimp right over my head. It looked like I could reach up and touch it. It was probably about 500 yards over my head.
Okay.
But I could tell how huge this thing was.
The two guys who created the crop circles that everybody knew from the 1970s through the 1990s, who revealed how to make crop circles and stuff, were Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley of Southampton, England.
England. Okay.
So they are British.
Now,
Joe, you may remember this. Lewis, you may remember it too. We went out front one day and we kept looking, and there was this little light off on the horizon. We were watching it; it's moving real slow. And we're like, and it's slow. As it got closer, it turned into this little long bar of light that kept pulsing, like left to right. We were like, and we were watching it for a few. We were, Mom! It's a flying saucer! Come out, and look at it! Everybody comes out, and everybody goes in, tells their parents and stuff like this. We're all looking at it. Sure enough, it's getting closer and bigger, and you can see the little windows rotating around the outside of the flying saucer. It's getting closer. Everybody, and just it's that children of the sun moment that everyone is having. Like, oh my God, there really is alien life out there. It keeps getting closer and closer, and as it gets really, really close, you can start hearing the propeller. It's a Cessna that has this light underneath it. That it's a signboard, and the letters are moving across the bottom of it.
Oh, under the wings.
Under the wing.
Okay.
And at a distance, the letters looked like rotating windows. If anybody's ever seen the Flying Saucer House on Signal Mountain, knows what I'm talking about. As the letters moved across the bottom, it looked like rotating windows.
Wow.
And eventually it was some sort of political ad for us to, vote for some jackass we don't know.
Yeah, and I actually remember.
And I don't think he won that election because of that shit.
Yeah, actually the pilot got in trouble with the FAA. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that part of it.
Now, one of my little UFO stories is, remember, I used to work for the city in the public works department. And
when you got bored, you built UFOs.
No, we were working on Airport Road. Down there on the end where the planes come across for the runway.
Right. Down the swamp.
Yeah. And, we're trimming around the guardrails and all that. There's a crew of hot, sunny day. All of a sudden, it got dark. We looked up, and the C5 was coming in.
Air show or just regular?
It was built up for the air show. They came in on Thursday for some reason, and we weren't expecting. All of a sudden, we look up, and this thing looked like we could reach up and touch it, and it looked like it had stopped.
They're moving 150 miles an hour, but that plane's so big, it doesn't really look like it's moving 150 miles an hour.
I'm going to tell you, 6 guys went to screaming and diving and crawling into ditches.
The engines on a C-5 Galaxy could literally suck up a pickup truck if it just happened to be on the runway when they landed. That's a huge damn aircraft.
Hey, John, I flew when I was 8. I just turned 19. I flew in the back of a C5 Galaxy from Norfolk, Virginia to Rota, Spain. That was a long ass flight. And the C5, it's built for cargo. So
Right.
the passengers are an afterthought. So the passengers are actually very high in the fuselage towards the tail, facing rearward. The seats face the back of the
wait
plane.
a minute. There's 2 decks on a C5. There's the main cargo deck, and there's that upper deck.
There are ladders or stairways that go up the fuselage. They're curved stairways,
Right.
and they go up the fuselage up to the crew area. And I think this one was outfitted. They probably had 100 seats,
Something like that.
but you could carry, like several tanks underneath you. But
we got to fly in Iraq. We got to fly in a C-17.
Now that's a big puppy too.
It is, and they got seats down the side, kind of like C-130, but in the center they got the big cargo area where they put tanks and stuff like that. And they bring in these pallets, they're little flat sleds with, I want to say they got 4 rows of seats and about 6 seats across on each pallet.
Yeah.
They basically just roll the pallets up in there, lock them in place, and you've got an extra 100 seats in the plane.
Yeah.
I got to sit on the side and watch, and it's like flying in a basketball court. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. You're in the back of that thing, and it's literally the roof's way up there. And I'm sitting here on the side, and they've got all this, and it's kind of funny as the plane's taking off stuff. These pallets, while these seats on there, are moving back and forth.
Yeah,
locked in real good.
On the C5, the passenger area is permanent.
Right. On the C-17s.
Yeah.
And they're literally.
But the floor under you.
Brought in. Okay.
The floor under the seats is perforated. I mean, it's got holes all through it. Yeah. Well, it makes it a lot lighter.
Well, makes sense.
I mean, you got to make everything light so you've got more cargo carrying capability. So, I mean, they're jump seats. So they've just got a pad on the bottom, nothing on the back. They expect you to have your rucksack or something to lean back on. So there's only a pad on the bottom seat. And of course the seat belt, it's just a lap belt, no 4-point, 5-point harness.
Well,
and then the floor, you can see through it. So you're looking down, and way down there, they've got lots of military equipment. It's kind of surreal.
Does anybody remember back in the 70s when the cargo doors were blowing open on C5s and they depressurized and crash?
No, but I'm glad I didn't hear that, because that would have kind of freaked me out flying over the Atlantic Ocean at 38,000 feet.
Now, Louis,
the reason I mention that is that my dad was the machinist that made the replacement door latches.
Oh.
And once his parts were installed, those cargo doors did not come open until they were supposed to. They did not.
I hope I got one of the planes that your dad worked on.
Could have been. No, all he did is make the parts. Whoever installed them was somebody else.
Yes.
He's just a machinist.
Go ahead, Joe.
Have you ever been up in the ceiling of the roundhouse?
No, not there. No.
Okay. Well, looking down from the ceiling of the roundhouse is about what you saw.
Yeah.
That's about how high up it was.
Yeah. Well, I've done that in the Superdome. Louisiana Superdome, a couple of weeks before they opened to the public.
Yeah.
A friend of mine and I kind of got on the construction site and snuck up there.
I've been under the Ogati Bridge. I can't admit to it too much because you're not supposed to enter there. And I've been on top of the Walnut Street Bridge.
On top of it?
On top of it.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, that's a fun view, let me tell you. I don't recommend it because, trust me, the pigeon poop almost killed me on several occasions. What? Who? What? Where? Did Lewis? Who left?
Not me.
Joe and Blake are in the background.
I don't have the power.
I didn't do it either. I'll blame it on Heather.
With the way that StreamYard works now, since they've got the narrator thing in, whenever you turn it to just your avatar, it takes you and puts you backstage.
And it got rid of all our avatars, which is kind of annoying. So we had to build new avatars or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I never had one.
And
you gotta put one in for yourself. And the problem is, apparently, sometimes it'll get rid of everybody except the last host, so everybody will wind up with the same avatar, which again sucks. All right. Interesting story that I found today, and since nobody's here talking about interesting stuff, I'll go ahead and talk about this. Lewis may know it. There was a destroyer, it's a Fletcher-class destroyer in World War II called the USS O'Bannon. Have you ever heard the story, Lewis?
I don't think so.
Fletcher-class destroyer, they're cruising along. That destroyer does really fast, and nothing going on. So they're out doing all the regular Navy stuff. They're out cleaning stuff and swabbing decks and peeling potatoes and stuff like that. And they're cruising along, and the sonar operator thought he heard something. So they're listening. The sonar operator says, "Sound like a submarine." They said, "Well, there aren't supposed to be any submarines around here. So if it's a submarine, it ain't one of ours." So they're starting to, get a little concerned about it. All of a sudden, they go to battle stations. About the time they go to battle stations, they're having trouble figuring out where the sub was, and the reason was the sub was surfacing about the same time they picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when it's close to the surface, it's hard to hear. So this Japanese,
but when they blow the ballast to go up, that's when they can be heard.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they thought they heard a sub, and all of a sudden the lookout's like, "Hey, there's something coming up." No. They look up, and they're literally right on top of it. So they go to battle stations, sub surfaces. All their crew comes up. They look. They go to battle stations. Everybody's panicking, trying to get everything. So the Japanese sub is like pulling their machine guns up, trying to get shells up to the deck gun. And all these people on the Fletcher-class destroyer are getting to their gun positions, stuff like that. Now, Fletcher-class destroyer, it's got 5 turrets on board, 5-inch guns, and a bunch of 45 mike cannons, and then 20 millimeter cannons. Well, the problem is, even their lowest gun is about 30 foot off the surface of the water.
Yeah, shoot right over it.
It won't depress.
They can't depress the gun enough.
Mm-mm.
Now, the Japanese submarine, their main gun is only about 6 foot off the water. They got a slight advantage here at this range.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is everything's happening so fast, they don't have time to react. So if they had thought about it, they could have run over the sub, which probably would have killed everybody on board. But they can't do it. They can't get the torpedoes ready. They can't get the 5-inch guns ready. The 40 mics, they're still hauling ammo up for those. 20 mics are still trying. They got nothing they can shoot at this up. The sub guys have already got machine guns setting up on deck, burning up belts of ammo. They're pulling up shells for the deck gun. Guy with deck guns trying to crank that thing around so he can engage his destroyer real quick. A couple guys who'd been on deck peeling potatoes, but we got to do something. They went over the potato locker, grabbed a handful of potatoes, about 5 of them sitting there. They start chucking taters. And they're like pelting the gunners. They're pelting the machine. These guys trying to load machine guns, getting hit in the head with potatoes. There's potatoes bouncing around on the deck of the submarine. There's Japanese soldiers that are yelling, "Grenade!" and jumping on top of potatoes. They think they're going to die for the emperor. They're jumping on top of the
making mashed potatoes.
They wait about 10, 15 seconds, realize it's not a grenade, and then now they got to go clean mashed potatoes off their uniforms and stuff like that. And these guys just steadily chucking taters across at this Japanese submarine. They're hitting everybody. And the Japanese, well, they don't have potatoes in Japan. So they don't know what the hell. They think they're hand grenades. So they're trying to grab these things and chuck them off the side of the submarine as fast as they can. The destroyer, moving as fast as it does, just sails right past the submarine. Submarine's going the other direction. The submarine doesn't get a shot off. The destroyer eventually turns around, comes in, depth charges the heck out of them. And I don't think they ever actually sank they didn't actually sink each other. But the O'Bannon went on to be the most decorated destroyer in the history of the U.S. Navy.
Well, with quick thinking cooks.
Exactly. But here's what's funny. They get a plaque from the Potato Growers Association of Maine. Okay. And they've had this now that this is a Fletcher class sub, which is a fairly Fletcher class destroyer, which is a fairly successful destroyer group.
Yeah.
They had this plaque above their potato locker from the Maine, the Association of Potato Growers of Maine.
Was Idaho too busy, or like?
Well, not Idaho, it was Maine. I don't know why, but they had this above their potato locker. This ship went on to serve through Korea and Vietnam, and only after Vietnam got decommissioned. Fletcher classes being fairly good destroyers, and which was a funny damn story about them tossing a bunch of potatoes at a bunch of Japanese submarines.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wondered, and I can't find out, and I'm hoping Lewis can tell me, where did that damn plaque go?
Well,
whoever bronze plaque
whoever served in the galley when it was decommissioned probably grabbed it. And where it is there, I mean, it might be in some family's attic in Des Moines. Who knows?
Well, the thing that, like I said, it was from the state of Maine. Maine potato grower. I didn't know they grew potatoes in Maine. I would have thought it was.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, keep talking. I'm looking.
USS O'Bannon, and it's the Fletcher class because there is currently serving. Now, I'm curious if it's on board the new Ollie Burke class destroyer, USS O'Bannon.
I don't know.
But I can't find anything on it. I was hoping you being Navy would have a resource.
I wrote it down, and I will look that up. But it's depending on who and what and the timing, things often go missing off of ships and go into personal possession. For example, the ship that I served on, USS Moynister, fast frigate 1097, was built at Avondale Shipyards in New Orleans.
Okay.
And it was commissioned in 1972, so it was only 6 years old when I reported aboard. And so it was still a fairly new ship. And because I was the first New Orleanian, and I was living in New Orleans at the time that I joined, because I was the first New Orleanian to serve on board the Moynister, I got her first chart.
Ooh,
which was
you mentioned that
the Mississippi River. Yeah, the Mississippi River. And this is the first chart. This was the chart that was used to get it out to the Gulf of Mexico from Avondale Shipyards. So There's the city of New Orleans, and I've been trying to figure out a way that someday I can afford to get this thing framed and hang it on my wall. And also, we were in the Mediterranean that first cruise, and unbeknownst to all the other guys, I took another chart because these were all in my job. The Mediterranean Sea. That's all the places that we went to that particular cruise. And the only thing that I did, see, this is where all the classified information was taped. So I did take that off. I did take that off before I stole the chart.
Here there be dragons. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So once again, I'd love to be able to get this thing framed.
You're going to have to get that done custom. I don't think Hobby Lobby or any of the other places. You're probably going to take it to Lowe's and get you a nice
Lowe's. Wow.
You'll probably Lowe's or Home Depot and get a nice big chunk of plexiglass.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not sure how to get the folds out of it. I mean, I know I won't be able to get them completely out.
If you go with plastic, you probably won't be able to. If you go with glass weighs enough, it might press the folds out of it.
Maybe.
A little steam, maybe. I wouldn't suggest too much, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these charts are from the 70s, so they're 50 years old.
I got a small update.
It'll probably involve marijuana or cocaine.
Ooh, nice.
Well, they're from the 70s.
Maybe they were made with both. It could be hemp paper. On the USS
Sounds like mothballs.
on the DD-450, the USS O'Bannon, it actually said that the plaque commemorating the incident was on display at the Maine Maritime Museum until the 1970s when it went missing.
Is that the O'Bannon's potato thing?
Mhm.
What was the whole number?
DD-450.
450. You didn't remember. It was Fletcher class. You'll know. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's several different O'Bannons. I think there's 4 different destroyer O'Bannons.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Fletcher class. Yeah. There's currently one serving. It's an Ollie Burke. So.
Okay. There's a Fletcher class. There's a Fletcher class docked in Baton Rouge, the USS Kidd, that was hit by a kamikaze. I mean, they fixed it, but yeah, they've got pictures on board.
Times. I was down there during Hurricane Gustav when they were trying to figure out if it was going to stay afloat or not.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird because it's on a very special mount where it's attached to 2 huge pillars, and it can rise and fall with the tide of the river without going anywhere.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Texas. They did the same thing with Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got these 2 huge. I'm trying to remember what stanchions, I think you're called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it rises and it keeps. Strangely enough, it's supposed to keep the ship from listing.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah. It's a battleship.
The Kidd. Oh.
Yeah, it would take a lot. It would take a lot more than a little bit of steel to keep it from listing.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of hull leaks. They're getting ready to run it over to Mobile. And
really?
do a complete refit. Yeah, they
got a great shipyard there. I think that's a Ingersoll Rand
probably
shipyards, I believe.
Yeah, y'all talking about the poles that it was on. Lewis, do you remember when we almost lost the Southern Belle Dock?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was before they brought the big boat in.
Yeah.
And John, to answer your final question about how many O'Bannons, there's been 3, and the last one was 987, and it was sunk by the Turkish military back in 2005.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought there's one. I thought there was one currently that's an Ollie Burke class, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I looked at the.
It was sunk by the Turk. Wait a minute. When did we go to World War Turkey?
We used to give a lot of destroyers to Turkey, and they didn't know what the hell to do with them.
Yeah, M84 bomb destroyed it.
Well, my fast frigate we gave to Egypt, so.
Well, the destroyer from the Philadelphia experiment legend went to Greece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of all places.
We gave 150 old World War I destroyers to Russia. Russia didn't know what to do with them, and they literally let 150 destroyers rot. So
that's about right.
I keep looking on eBay for nuclear aircraft carriers.
They won't sell you a nuclear one. Now, some of the old fuel-fired ones you might be able to pick up for a few bucks, but that's
Well, I need a John boat, so
you can get those for a couple $100 at Walmart.
I think there's 3 fuel-fired carriers still sitting in Bremerton, Washington. If you don't mind hiring a tugboat to drag it over here.
In the nuclear carriers, when they decommission them, don't they have to cut them apart just to get the reactor out?
No. Depends on the carrier. The first one, Enterprise, they're still having big problems with that some bit.
They had 7 reactors.
8. It had 8 reactors they had to pull out. It was the only nuclear aircraft carrier we had that many reactors.
Well,
all the ones after it only had 2, but they're a little bit bigger.
It was a class of its own. It was
class. Yeah, Enterprise was its own thing, and it was a mark of distinction if you worked in the nuclear propulsion on the Enterprise. I'm trying to 8 burning something like, I can't remember. There's some phrase for it that you got to. It's literally a special badge you're supposed to get. just for working on the Enterprise nuclear reactors.
Hmm.
And
Now, have y'all seen how they do ship breaking in, where is it? Pakistan? Is that where they do it?
Yeah.
India,
That's one of the
India.
places.
Pakistan doesn't have an ocean. They can't do ship breaking. If they do ship breaking, there's a lot of dragging involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
India has a big one.
There's someplace on the African coast.
Yeah. That's
What?
what I'm thinking of.
No,
There's
India has
someplace
the
on
biggest
the
one.
African coast.
Africa. I've never heard the one in Africa, but they've got one in
There's a Long India. I know that one.
oh hell, I can't remember the name of the. I was just reading this the other night. Now I can't remember it. Hang on a second.
Yeah, they're actually now cruise ships that some of the smaller cruise ships that.
Yeah.
I mean, they just some of the legendary cruise ships.
Oh, Turkey. Turkey's got a big one.
Turkey, that's the one I'm thinking of.
There's one down in Texas that's a big one, and it does most of the American warship. A matter of fact, you if you scan through there occasionally, you can see an aircraft carrier getting torn apart.
Yeah, the one in Turkey, there's a video of it where they
Yeah.
Oasis of the Sea.
The one I was thinking of is actually called Gadni. It's in Pakistan.
Pakistan?
Mm-hmm.
How can Pakistan's a landlocked country? How the hell can they do shipbreaking?
I don't know. It says Gadni currently has an annual capacity of breaking 125 ships of all sizes, including super tankers.
What? What do they do?
They
Drag her across India? What?
They get them from UPS.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
I FedEx. I'm sorry.
Thinking Afghanistan. Pakistan does have a coast.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I switched it up. Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, isn't Pakistan literally next to India?
Yeah.
Yep.
Along the Indian Ocean.
I'm sorry. I got backwards thinking there. Afghanistan is landlocked. You have to go through Pakistan to get to Afghanistan. I was thinking backwards.
That's all
Kind of
YouTube.
like
Right
Atlanta. You got to go through Atlanta to get anywhere in the world.
When you die, it doesn't matter if you're going to heaven or hell. You got to change flights in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Yeah.
Nope, I refuse. I'll do ORD any day of the week.
It is the Carnival Fantasy. That was the one that they just.
Where are they tearing it up?
Turkey.
In Texas, I think he said, Turkey.
You know, the truth of the fact of the matter is that when you die, if you're a good person, then you get a private charter jet to heaven, skipping all of the airports. However, if you're a bad person and you're going to hell, you get stuck with an infinity layover in Atlanta.
I've never had a problem at O'Hare. I mean, at Atlanta.
Atlanta's been
O'Hare, I have.
I just get stuck in the honeycomb.
The biggest problem that I've ever had at Atlanta is my plane got canceled.
But up there in Chicago, when you said you had a problem at O'Hare, was it TSA?
No.
Yeah, my one was 9/11.
It was Piedmont.
I was really
Piedmont Airlines.
I was really hoping it was TSA, because then I was going to ask you if you remember the TSA agent's name. If you told me it was Denise Theben, I would have pissed myself.
Dude, this was 1978.
Piedmont.
She wasn't even a spunk shot. So.
Hey, Lewis, Denise was alive in 1978.
Okay.
I don't know if she was TSA. I don't know what she was doing in 78.
I was heading back to Iraq, and the plane that I was supposed to, I can't remember if I think it was the plane I was supposed to be taking from Chattanooga to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta I was supposed to fly to Germany somewhere. Yeah.
What I wanted to say this real quick to Lewis. Denise is my great aunt's wife. Yes.
Okay.
Lewis.
Oh, the plane from Atlanta got canceled, or the plane from Chattanooga to Atlanta didn't just get canceled; it disappeared.
It got
well, aren't you glad you weren't on it
and
yet?
they told me, your plane has disappeared. I said, define disappeared. I mean, what did it come in over the Bermuda Triangle? And I'm going to be hearing about this for years. But we don't know. It didn't show up here in Chattanooga. We're going to book you on the next flight to Atlanta. I'm like, okay, I've already had enough problems at Chattanooga Airport because I was a light combat engineer. All of my bags had C4 and other explosive residues on them. So every time the little guy at security pulled out the little nitride wipes and ran it over I said, they're going to show up positive. I'm a light combat engineer. Everything's covered in C4. Just you're going to have to go through the stuff and check it. Says you'll notice there are no padlocks on my duffel bags. There's a reason for that because I know you're going to have to go through it.
It's like
and he said, "No problem. Thank you."
I was thinking it was like Jeff Dunham.
Hand lotion.
Hand lotion.
Okay, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but strangely enough, C4 is 60% polymer. I'm trying to remember the actual word for it, but it is very similar to the sort of thing they use in hand lotions and, strange enough, food.
Has anybody ever had to change flights in Denver?
Where?
Not changed flights. I've flown into Denver, but not.
I've never been anywhere near Denver. Thank God.
Okay. I have been, I've had to change flights at Denver twice now. And the plane comes in, everybody debarks, and you've got like 7 seconds to get to the far end of the airport for your connecting flight. Both times. And because of the length of the flight, Lindsay was in a wheelchair because of her sciatica. And somebody from the airport was just pushing her in that wheelchair just at a dead run from one end of the airport to the other.
Wow. Hope you tipped them well.
I was coming back from Germany.
They wouldn't take tips.
Wow.
I was coming back from Germany one time, and we went to Rhein-Main. And we're going to try and get a MAC flight back to the United States for Christmas. We got there, and apparently we had the same idea the other 1,000 military personnel had trying to get back to the United States on a MAC flight, which only cost you like $10 or something like that. But
didn't cost us anything.
There used to be a processing fee, if I remember.
Oh,
but
for non-military, MAC is Military Air Command.
Right. Okay. And there was no way we're gonna. And they said, "Well, we'll put you on the list, but you're number 1002." And we're like, "Okay." So we went downstairs, and they had this Aces booth. Which
what booth?
Aces.
Okay.
ACES, Aces. And what they do is they buy up last-minute plane tickets on other airlines and sell them to military people at a discount.
Wow.
So I went over there, and I had 3 other guys with me that were kind of tagging along. And I said, is there any way we could get back? And everybody wanted to go to Atlanta. I said, is there any way we could get to Atlanta? Yeah, if you can get over to the German airport here in the next 15 minutes, sure. And we're all in dress uniforms, of course. And we're like, sure, sign us up. So it's like $89 to get back on an Aces.
Wow.
And we all sign up, and he says, okay. He says, you got 15 minutes, get in the van. And the guy, literally, you know how people drive in Germany?
Yeah.
That's the guy driving.
Every road's the Autobahn.
We're no duffel bags and stuff. We're going down the Autobahn. You got to go around the loop around the airport. Okay, so he's driving like a bat out of hell. I mean, you ever pass a high-end Mercedes in a 15-passenger van doing 120 miles an hour while you're trying to change out of your Class A uniform into civilian clothes? I've done it. So I pack up my Class A uniform just as we're pulling into the Frankfurt airport. And we go in there, and I get up, I've got all my shit together. So I'm going to run up to the booth first. And the guy who's bought us the tickets and everything, he's running with us. We get up there and I get processed for it. And it says, the plane's leaving in 2 minutes. I said, how far away? Which gate? It says, it's that way, about 5 gates. I look, I can see it from here. I can make it in 2 minutes. But they got to process these other 3 guys. Okay. Said, don't worry. I'll hold them. He's like, you can't hold them in an airplane. Says, you can if you have a seizure in front of the pressure door. Okay. So okay. So I go running down there, and it is strange enough. It is a KLM flight, Royal Dutch Airline, big 747.
Very, very nice.
No, yeah. I go down there and I tell them, listen, we got an ACES thing. Go ahead, Joe.
We got 3 minutes. We need to run.
I can finish it in 3 minutes. I can finish it in 1 minute.
You got 1 minute.
So I get down there. I explain to the KLM people, I got 3 more guys coming behind me. They're running as fast as they can. They said, no problem. Okay, I said, oh, that's cool. We get there. The only problem is the seats are all over the damn airplane. Nobody's going to sit together. So we get in there, and they said, okay. And I tell them, seat the other guys first. I'm the highest ranking. I said, seat the other guys first. And they said, no problem. So they seat the first guy. He's, seat the second guy. No problem. Third guy. No problem. Says, okay, we have a problem. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. And I'm like, and they said, we don't have any, Royal Dutch Airlines has their own terms for the seating. Their coach is great. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's better than anybody else's coach section. And they're basically, we don't have any seating in the Royal Dutch section. It says, we're going to have to move you forward into the Royal Dutch Royale section. Like,
so you got bumped to
if I have to suffer, I'll do it. So they take me up to the front of the airplane, and not quite in the nose. Okay, it's just like it's right where coach and business meet. Mm-hmm. And literally where I'm sitting, there's 2 seats. Okay. There's no seats in front of me. There's a movie screen on the bulkhead in front of me. There's a door next to it, and there's people off the side. And if you go to the right, that's the stairway going up into the upper section of the 747, right, which is their super, mega super, you bought a lot of airline class thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
We got to go. It's time to go.
All right. I will come to the after show just to hear the end of the story.
All right.
Go, Jeff.
I have slit the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.